Hello, folks. Welcome to another Journalist Hangout show. I'm Citizen Jones. Today on the program, APC confirms Jonathan's membership in Bayelsa as he awaits NWC waiver to contest. But then, let me report I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, BKO. Jide, I greet you. Good evening.
I greet you, Citizen. Good evening, viewers.
And then, of course, we have Paul Dada. Paul, all of me greet all of you.
I greet you back.
Okay, then. So the team is ready. I hope you are. Okay, then. You know, there's no denying that one great fault line of ours is religious intolerance, and it is deep-seated. Now, the brutal killing of Deborah Samuel, a student of the Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto, over alleged blasphemy has attracted widespread reactions. She reportedly wrote what was considered a blasphemous comment about Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, on a student's WhatsApp platform. Now, consequently, the Sokoto state government, in reaction to the immoderate development, has ordered the immediate closure of the school. Now, Governor Aminu TAMBUWAL wants a full-scale investigation into the matter, while the Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Hassan KUKAH, describes the perpetrators as criminals. They really are more than criminals.
Yes, and religion is a very emotive issue in our country, and it calls for serious concern. No man is permitted to take another man's life. The religions clearly say that the rights over life belongs to God. No one is permitted to take another person's life. And
for whatever reason.
yes, and where a nation is governed by laws, people need to be patient to allow the law to take its course. Otherwise, if we must react as our heart dictates all the time, if we must react as our intuition leads us all the time, we will be killing people all over the place, and we will be in a state of nature, Obesian state of nature, where life is brutish. So I just want to urge our people, Nigerians, to be more tolerant of one another and to not take the law into their hands.
Yeah. But Paul, you know, as Bishop Hassan KUKAH said, Christians and Muslims had been living together in peace and harmony for many, many years. And so you are wondering, why this now? And quickly, the so-called first Antichrist, that's Napoleon Bonaparte, said, religion is one effective way of keeping the poor people down.
Well, I think it has to do with the mindset that people have got. Because we have religious people in this country who are very peaceful. What has happened in Sokoto has been condemned by both Christians and Muslims. And well-meaning Muslims, prominent Muslims have said those people do not represent the religion. And I believe them. I believe them. Because the people who do this, I don't know where they got the ideology from. I think that is what we should be looking at. Because it's not enough to make statements. It's good we make statements like this.
Yeah.
People should be punished and all of that. But we should start looking for how people got this ideology that you must kill in the name of religion. That's people have toxins in their blood, in their DNA, because of what they have been, probably some of them, what their parents taught them.
Just need a little something to provoke it.
Exactly, exactly. Maybe what their parents told them, maybe what they heard from some unscrupulous preachers who do not in any way represent all the preachers of the religion. We must say that.
And the teachings of the faith.
Exactly. We must say that, and we must say it emphatically. Because we've seen preachers from both religions saying, look, it is the path of peace we must follow. Now, we must be able to look at what people are being taught in religious houses. there must be deliberate and sustained effort on the part of local governments, state governments, native authorities to detoxify people, reorientate people, that going the path of violence, the path of killing, is not the way to go.
Yeah.
It is not what the religions say that we should do. At least that's what we believe, that that's not what religions say we should do. So how come people are killing and they're using religion as a reason for that?
Jide, quickly, the governor has said, look, let's probe the matter. I think punishing bad behavior had been a problem in this country. I think we must punish for once.
Well, let's see how government reacts to this. It's a good thing that the conduct of the people who took her life has been condemned. We have to get our people to realize that there's no sense in killing one another for any reason. There's no sense in killing one another. And we would offend one another at some point, but we shouldn't resort to extreme violence, as we have seen in this case. Even amidst provocation, we should be able to restrain ourselves and not resort to taking anyone's life. That's where I want to leave it.
If you profess a faith, leave the faith out by the way you deal with other people. It's only natural.
See, let's just not take one another's lives for any reason, whether for religion or for no man is permitted to take another person's life.
All right. May she rest in peace. Okay, then, a second story. A fifth column is any group of people who undermine a larger group from within, usually in favor of an enemy. You know, in the Nigerian armed forces, rather, they are regarded as fifth columnists. Now, no fewer than 3 soldiers have been arrested for collaborating with terrorists in ZAMFARA state, while 1 was arrested for selling arms and ammunition. 2 others were rounded up for collaborating with terrorists. After ammunition had gone missing in the Shinkafi LGA, an investigation revealed that they were being sold by compromised soldiers. Some days ago, a certain Lance Corporal Jibril committed suicide over an alleged link with the ISWAP. Paul, we had been talking about fifth columnists amongst us over some time now.
All of this explains the reason why the war against terrorism and banditry is protracted and sometimes being frustrated. Because it's clear that people in the military, people in authorities, and not all of them, there are people in the military, even the police, that are in bed with criminals. This has happened. This man, we are told, had been selling weapons to
the enemy.
And then was discovered. Even today I read that a serving local government councillor was arrested. He had a concealed weapon and a bag full of ammunition. He was on his way to supply bandits.
Close to their hideout.
Exactly. That's someone in government, a councillor. So what it means is that we have people in privileged positions in the society that are frustrating the efforts to deal with terrorist bandits. We have people in the security agencies, law enforcement agencies, that are frustrating these efforts. Now, we need to just intensify our effort to fish them out. Now we know that they get their weapons even from within. We've heard so much about weapons coming from the outside, but weapons also come from within.
Yeah.
So we must continue to fish these people out, and it's not just fishing them out. Let us interrogate them fully. They must be able to talk about their collaborators, even within the services, within the agencies, and the others, the terrorists who they are aiding.
We really are in interesting times, times that try men's souls. So you look at a military formation, and that some men in that formation doing things that run counter to the general spirit of the place. So you think the military can reinvent itself by going after them?
Yes, they are going after them. That's why we are seeing all these things happening, all these criminals being exposed. The CDS, General Irabo, last week complained bitterly and even listed a litany of cases involving soldiers working in cahoots with bandits. And the trigger for his memo to commanders was what happened in Yobe State, where that Lance Corporal who belonged to the Nigerian Special Forces was caught colluding with ISWAP. ISWAP had carried out an attack a day earlier, a couple of days earlier, and he was found to have colluded with them. And when he was being taken away, probably to go and lock him up somewhere, he decided to take his own life. These cases are becoming rampant. It's a serious matter for concern. Before the CDS raised this alarm and warned commanders to be conscious of the fact that soldiers were beginning to help the enemy, there were cases in the past that some of those cases we simply refuse to talk about them. There was the case in this same ZAMFARA of a soldier and his wife who were arrested for selling military uniforms to bandits.
To the enemy?
Yeah, so what are we talking about? So if you are selling weapons, if you are selling uniforms to bandits, you are selling weapons, you are turning your weapons over to bandits, you are helping bandits to access Indian hemp, then what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Some of these guys provide information about movement of troops, which enables the enemy to do an ambush.
Yeah.
You know, we have lost, I can say in the last 2 years, we have lost troops through ambushes more than through pitched battles against the enemy. Ambushes are common. So and then you ask yourself, how do they get to know that the troops are heading in a particular direction? In the aftermath of the creation of super camps, it became necessary to send soldiers on errands, admin work, and all that, so to bring logistics supplies to those big super camps. You have to move around. You can't be holed up permanently inside your barracks, inside your base. But when these guys are moving, ambushes happen. Sometimes they are attacked through IEDs and all that. A lot of the information that leads to the death of our troops, if we investigate, we'll find that it's their own colleagues who are leaking.
Fifth columnists.
Yes, those fifth columnists, they are the ones leaking this information to the enemy. And it's just terrible. I didn't expect that just days after the CDS complaint, so these guys will be caught. Some are even colluding with bandits to kidnap people. There was an arrest that was made involving a soldier at one div in Kaduna who worked in cahoots with bandits to kidnap people.
Obviously for ransom.
For money. For money. Those ones who pay him for his services. We just can't allow this to continue.
Paul, at this point you are wondering what the motive is. What propels these fifth columnists?
Well,
it's only natural to think that way.
The motive can be pecuniary, maybe just want to make gain. It could also be ideological. There could be people who share the ideology of terrorists that have found their way into the military, into
properly recruited,
trained, which means now this is an eye-opener. It's revealing. What it now means is that in recruiting people, we have to be more eagle-eyed.
Circumspect.
Exactly. We have to be more circumspect. We have to, I don't know how much of their background they normally dig into.
Yeah.
But probably if you are getting people into the army, you have to make use of your intelligence. You have to even make use of the DSS to...
The Onyibo people I hear will go into your history, personal history.
Exactly. Run background checks.
Yeah, that's it.
As this, what did he do when he was young? What kind of school did he attend? What did he say at this particular time? What does he say on social media platforms? What does he say when he's having discussions with his peers and all of those?
Yeah.
What is his attitude, mental attitude towards money? Is it the kind of, does he believe in get rich by all means?
Yeah.
You know, those are some of the things. A lot of background checks will be done on people before they are allowed
family wahala and so on.
Exactly, because anybody who does this, who tries to profit from chaos, profits from tears of people, is sick in the mind.
Yeah.
And sick people, the army is not for sick people. People who are mentally sick.
And whatever money you get from that deal is blood money.
It's blood money.
Blood money
and the people who do this, you know, it's like people that are murdering sleep. They will not sleep also. Yeah. When you murder sleep, you will sleep no more.
Because Jide, they say if you win a rat race, you remain a rat. So why go into the race at all? Well, at that point.
Well, those who coined that that phrase, they are the ones who understand what they are talking about. Because rat race is not really a race involving rats. By my knowledge of what rat race means, it's not a race for rats. What it's just something very competitive.
Yeah.
And you sink your whole being into it. You know,
and
so
you come out the worse for it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hear there's a Benga reaching us from Lagos. Benga, good evening to you. I greet you. Welcome.
Yeah, in respect of the MC column, their motive will before it start to be money. And probably ideology. But the fact is that as a human being, there is no how you will know that somebody can be a criminal in future. So I'm responding to what Mr. Dada said. Going through their history, and you may be good, maybe when you are schooling, but when you now pass out, you start work. Then you can now change from better to worse. So the issue is that the military should continue with their intelligence, and then anybody that is found should be dealt with, not just keeping quiet. All those people.
Thank you, Benga. Thank you, Benga. We got you first time. Jide brings to mind the case of that guy, the whatever bomber in America.
Okay, the underwear bomber.
That's it.
That's the Nigerian Abdul Muttalab.
That's it.
From a very rich family. His father, probably the most respected banker to come out of northern Nigeria. You know, big corporate player in our country, and his son went to school abroad, got indoctrinated, you know. So he had not always been a terrorist.
Yeah.
Yes, he had not always. He just happened to have mingled with the wrong people, who then
triggered whatever it is.
Yeah, they recalibrated his brain.
Oh boy.
And then
he
opted for then you know, initially he was just keeping to himself. You know,
Living like
not
a
talking.
recluse
Yes.
at a stage.
At a point when he started rebelling even against his own family. You don't want to have anything to do with them. That's what indoctrination does to
That's
you.
it.
You'll be made to see even your own parents as
the
bad
enemy.
people.
Bad people.
Bad
yeah.
people will never get to heaven. You know? So people change. I think the point that guy is making is that we've seen people who used to be
Straight,
people of impeccable
normal.
character.
That's it.
And suddenly they change. Sometimes money. I don't want to believe all these guys that are linking them with bandits and the rest of them. It's just for pecuniary gains.
And you're wondering.
Not
how
really,
much-
not really ideology. A lot of these guys. So somebody goes to sell weapons to bandits in ZAMFARA. You know what's going on in ZAMFARA? It's not really terrorism. It's banditry. He goes to sell weapons to them. It's because he's expecting hefty monetary.
that takes it from here to there, and that's it.
No, a lot. It's good money. See, bandits in ZAMFARA and other places, even for a loaf of bread, they pay several times the price of bread because where they are, it's not easy for them to access it. So if you can take the risk to supply them bread, if you can take the risk to supply them petrol, they will pay well over the odds. They will pay heavily for it. And that was why the governor of Katsina said, look, any bakery that would discover to be supplying bread to bandits in their forests, they are going to close. So they are offering so much more, knowing that it is not, it's not easy for people to go and do business with them. So they will reward you heavily for doing business with them.
I think my
Did you not see the video? Did you see the video of a woman?
Because
did you see the video of a woman who put petrol in the travel bag?
Okay.
And she was going to deliver to
That's it.
That's the extent of people will go because they know that the return is usually hefty.
At that point, she oblivious of the danger. You know,
no, she could not be bothered. It's the money.
Okay. All right, then. We'll take a breather here, a commercial break, and then we'll come back. Our next story is waiting. Yeah, welcome back. On Journalist Hangout, we have the facts, use the facts in molding opinion for you. Next story, money laundering, counter-terrorism, and crime financing are deadly felonies that have taken root in our fragile environment. Therefore, the need to improve the anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism, terrorist financing and proliferation frameworks cannot be overemphasized. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed 3 bills aimed at fighting the crimes which have become law now. Those bills have become law. The Commander-in-Chief described the bills as being in tandem with his administration's commitment to fight corruption and illicit financing activities. This provokes the question, is the problem a lack of appropriate laws or the will to punish bad people and behavior, Jide?
Both. And I'm happy that we are strengthening our laws and ensuring that we tighten the noose around these criminals, ensure that it's a lot more difficult for them to get away with corrupt practices, with terrorism, and make it a lot more difficult for them to even launder money in countries where in the past they found it comfortable to launder money. So we are getting into even agreements with some countries to ensure that, look, this place is not a haven for people to come, and the results are staring us in the face. In the past, people could go and keep money, maybe in Dubai, get away with it, but we have an agreement with them.
Bilateral, yeah.
Yes, to exchange even prisoners.
Yeah.
You know, exchange criminals. And that was why they provided some information to us about the presence of, about the activities of some Boko Haram sponsors and financiers and all that. And if you commit a crime over there and you are caught, we have a extradition treaty with them. Yeah. They will send you down there for you to be, for justice to take its course. So it's a good thing that we are doing our best, coming up with laws, targeting money launderers, targeting terrorism financing, and targeting the proceeds of financial crimes. If people can't defend their possessions or their wealth, then we should know that it could be product of, it could be proceeds of crime that they have used to acquire those properties, and then we should begin to interrogate. So what the president has done is to make these laws be in tandem with global best practices. And those global best practices will ensure that it is a lot more difficult for people to get away with such crimes. You and I know that Boko Haram killing campaign could not have continued in our country for this long, if not because some people are somewhere funneling money to them.
That's a supply fuel for them.
Yes, they are the ones who are fueling this insurgency that has cost so many lives in our country. So we've got to target terrorism financing through these laws that are in place. We've got to deal with money laundering through the instrumentality of the law, and deal with proceeds of crime. So they've set up, these laws will ensure that people who cannot defend their means of livelihood have questions to answer. So I'm quite happy, especially with the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Act 2022 that will come up with.
Paul, in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, the United States Assembly, Congress, came up with the Patriot Act, and it was signed into law. And many years down the line, they still went after the linchpin, if you see what I mean.
Yes.
So this is a plus.
Yes, it is. It's always good to look at our laws and see how to strengthen them. So I love what happened. You look at the law, look at the shortcomings of the extant laws, and then you try and improve upon them. It's fine. But my own concern is not even, yes, I'm happy that we are upgrading our laws, but the implementation. Let me quote what the president said, and I will react to it. He said, "This is profound and calls for coordinated responses to the challenges posed by the menace. I therefore charge all relevant agencies to ensure effective implementation of these new laws. The robust frameworks diligently enshrined in this act can only serve useful purposes when every bit of them is enforced." Sometimes our problem is not the absence of good laws. It is the implementation.
The laws are there.
The laws are there. The implementation of the laws and the prosecution of offenders.
Sorry, bring to mind that element of name and shame.
Name and shame. Of course, naming and shaming is part of it. But even beyond the naming and shaming, we want to see successful prosecution of offenders.
Yeah.
We are tired of, of course, the FCC has tried, the SAPC has done its bit, the DSS has done its bit, but too often we have seen cases that are struck out because of lack of diligent prosecution.
Even when they are prima facie cases.
Exactly. Even sometimes they cannot even establish prima facie cases. You remember the one that we just, Andrew Yakubu,
yeah.
Okay. You can't establish prima facie case against someone, and the person files a no-case submission, and the no-case submission succeeds. It happens. Sometimes when prosecuting authorities cannot get ahead successfully with a case, they employ nulli prosecui. Start, to tell the judge that, okay, we discontinue this matter. So what we want to see is that we successfully prosecute these cases, you know, we don't want to start hearing of lack of diligent prosecution cases. That let the cases be decided. Let's bring
and let people be seen to be punished for whatever they have done.
They say that justice should not only be done, but be seen to have been done. So that's
we have an Adebayo calling us from London. We say good evening to you, Adebayo. Good evening. Welcome.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just my little contribution to your discussion.
Okay, then.
When we don't punish bad behavior, we give room for other people to do all sorts of things. Nigeria is a nation that does not punish bad behavior. I take you memory line. Babashe Lawal was appointed secretary to government. Something happens. The vice president investigated. Up till now, nobody told us what happened. That is one. Akaliku, Gideon Akaliku, was killed in Kano, beheaded, and his head was put on stick, and they were dancing around Kano. What happened?
Well, Adebayo, it's a question we are asking too. Thankfully, the story we brought from Sokoto, we can only hope that it will get to a logical conclusion. Or don't you think, Jide?
Yeah, that's everyone's wish. As he said, these laws will be useless if the EFCC, the ICPC, do not up their game. The judiciary will not do a job for you. People are abusing judges and saying they lack faith in the Nigerian judiciary, when clearly the prosecution messed the case up. It just shows the immaturity of some of our people when commenting on matters like this.
And so the judge
will
cannot give you what you don't ask.
You know what you do not. You have, just as the CJN once said, justice is like a building. I mean, prosecution is like a building.
Yeah.
If your foundation is weak,
obviously
the accused person will walk away free.
Yeah.
I've seen where they accuse somebody of building his house from proceeds of crime, and that person came to court with check stubs showing that for 5 years he was drawing from a loan from Union Homes. So every time he kept record. By the time he presented it in court, of course, the no case submission succeeded. So we can imagine this is a bad case. How did you discover that it was bad? Because you read that, somebody stole 10 billion. 10 billion that the prosecution has not been able to prove. You don't expect the judiciary or the judges to simply side with you. You must have a good case. You must have a good case. So now, I'm happy about the fact that the law, for example, Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Act 2022 prescribes that there will be a dedicated account where these proceeds of crime, such monies can be kept and all that. Yeah. We don't need to set up a new agency like AMCOM, for example, handling those assets and all that. It's a waste of time. Dedicated account. This is where just something similar to what's it called? A treasury single account. A dedicated TSA account held by the CBN, where the proceeds of crime the monies from the proceeds of crime can then be kept once people are convicted and all that. So it's a good thing. Hopefully, our containment strategies will get better in the aftermath of the strengthening of the inadequacies, strengthening of our laws, and take care of the inadequacies.
The judicial family must realize that there is a difference between a good-sounding law and a law that sounds good. If we give teeth to laws, people will be discouraged. Okay then, to our next story. You know, in politics, rumor and speculation are good bedfellows, and they're propelled when there's no information, especially in our peculiar jurisdiction. You know, after very many moons of watching and second-guessing the political thinking of former President Goodluck Jonathan, the leadership of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in his native Ogbia Ward 13 in Bayelsa State, has confirmed that the former helmsman and erstwhile PDP member is now a bona fide member of the ruling APC. He is primed to run for the office of president in 2023. Jonathan's ward chairman, Igori Freeman, confirmed the speculation. And so anybody, Paul, anybody who is in a quandary may now think differently. I'm
seeing a quandary, and I'll tell you why. I'm seeing a quandary. Because Igori Freeman, the ward chairman, said that Jonathan joined in 2019.
You believe him?
That's why I said I'm seeing a quandary.
Oh boy.
Because I don't understand. He said he joined in 2019 when David Leon was sacked by the court. Now, he joined in 2019. Nobody knew about it. We're just getting to know. The state chairman was asked. He said he will not talk. He will not say, go and find out. Well, it is Jonathan's right. It is Jonathan's right to contest for elective office under any platform. But what I can't understand is, I can't understand the logic. I'm trying to add so hard to understand the logic behind his alleged willingness to contest under the platform of the APC. I have not forgotten that the reason why APC was voted was because of Jonathan's perceived, believed underperformance. And I still remember that the current Minister of Information, who was then the APC National Publicity Secretary, regularly, throughout press releases, condemning the inadequacies, the shortcomings, you know, of the then Jonathan government. So what has changed? What is the ideology of Jonathan now consistent with that of the APC? Because political parties are supposed to be about ideology. Okay? The APC is supposed to be a progressive party. I mean, they came up with, at least when they came up with progressive ideas, change, you know, they wrote on the mantra of change, and then that was 2015. Then they talk about next level in 2019. So what has changed about Jonathan? That's what I don't understand. That he has now become the darling of some elements in the APC who want him. So there is something very, very incongruous about the whole thing, which I don't understand. Meanwhile, if this is right, I will not. But personally, if I were to advise Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, say, if you must seek to become president, not in APC.
Are you an advisor?
No, I'm not his advisor, but that's just my view.
I can understand, Paul. I can understand your quandary, Jide, but you know you can sway 1,000 men by appealing to their prejudices than it is to convince one man with logic, especially in this particular case.
Well, for my friends in the APC, the more the merrier. And they will be very excited to have a former president join their party. They are not going to bother themselves thinking about some of the things they said about this man in the past. It's still to them a plus that a former president
is on their side.
Yes, has come to join the party. Igori Freeman confirmed that Jonathan joined the party on 11th May 2022. Which means that he will need a waiver from the NWC before he can contest election. And the waiver, naturally by the APC constitution, that waiver has to be approved by the NEC. But you know that the NEC of the party has yielded its powers to the NWC.
Yeah.
So because they can't call a NEC meeting anytime soon, at least until after the primaries. So the NWC is handling the duties of...
As a National Working Committee.
Yes. So Jonathan needs a waiver because the law says that you must have been a member of the party for 3 months before you can contest. That's what the APC Article 20 on party election.
Yeah.
That's what it says, that the person seeking elective position
are we to
must have been a member.
Are we to discountenance that information that he joined in 2019?
That's not.
But it's a report that says so. I'm still seeing the report here.
See,
well, we don't know which.
That's not what let's not argue about that on this program. For the NWC to be seeking to give him a waiver, it means that he just joined the party.
Okay.
Newspapers mislead. The other day they told us APC has zoned the presidency to the south.
Yeah.
It was on this program, I think you were even the anchor, when I delayed the program for 7 minutes just to be sure that we didn't mislead Nigerians. So anybody can report something, but that's not even the issue. Anybody can mislead Nigerians. But he's seeking a waiver.
Because he's a new member.
Yes, he has to be here. He has to have joined the party
90 days
for 3 months. He has ought to have been a member for 3 months. That's why where the waiver can come. They've given conditions under which they can give a waiver. He must not be a convict. He must apply for it, and he must agree to implement the manifestos of the party, which will mean that, okay, somebody who agrees with what the party stands for, so he will get that waiver. I was speaking with one of the party leaders just before we came into the studio, and he was saying, look, they are going to give him that waiver. And he said, so this is what the law says, and he even forwarded the portions of the law to me. So, Jonathan, I think some people, as I've said earlier, some people think that it's best for Jonathan to become president because he will do only 1 term and power can return to the north. That's the way some people are thinking. But it has only made these presidential primaries of the APC very, very interesting because all kinds of intrigues, all kinds of games are being played. But this is something that will be resolved in the fullness of time. So we will know where this whole thing will end. Will Jonathan, who was called names, and if I remember a governor calling him the ineffectual buffoon, an APC governor from the northeast.
President.
Yeah, an APC governor calling the sitting president.
I know. You remember the president himself at the time said he was the most insulted president on the planet.
But to look at a president and call him an ineffectual buffoon is not an unusual insult. This one is an insult that is deep-seated. Let's face it. Even me, if you call me an ineffectual buffoon, I can't predict how I will react. But that's to tell you that they never reckoned with him. They never saw him as a serious.
But does it not baffle you what about the game of politics itself?
Yes, and this is the nature of politics. Everyone is looking for advantage. They must have convinced themselves that with Jonathan on their side, that the party has become stronger. Every time someone of value or someone popular joins your party, it makes your party stronger.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. So now Jonathan has come. Jonathan wants to join the party after all the game. They told us it was not, he's going to let Nigerians know where he's going and all that. And initially it appeared that he was not going to accept the fact that some people bought a form for him. But he made a U-turn. He made a U-turn, and we've been told that he has now agreed to accept that form. You know, so it's a very funny season that we find ourselves where people would take as much as 100 million to go and buy form for an unwilling candidate, a candidate that you never spoke with. You just take all of that money in a season in which Nigerians are dying of hunger. People would take all of that money and buy a form for somebody who did not send you a message. You know, it's just...
The game of politics, Paul, is intriguing, you know, and so it's a game. We are watching, just like watching a poorly produced horror movie.
I don't think there's a more fitting description for this. I just can't get it out of my head that the APC mounted a very robust opposition to the PDP government led by Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. Okay? A very robust opposition that has not been equaled. In fact, what PDP is doing to the APC, you know, in terms of opposition is child's play.
So, sorry, let's not keep... Chidi is reaching us from Kafanchan. Just a minute, we'll be back with you. Chidi, good evening to you.
It's gone.
Oh, we've lost the connection to Chidi. Chidi, call back if you can. Yeah, you were saying.
I mean, it was a very robust opposition. The APC, as of then, was giving Nigerians the need to prefer an alternative. You know, criticizing his policies, his perceived inactions. That's Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. That was the man at the helm of affairs. He said, like you said, he was the most insulted president.
He said so. And
he was. People said all sorts of things.
But even Buhari is being regularly insulted.
Exactly. I agree. What I'm trying to say is that how come...
I don't even think that they insulted Jonathan more than
how come
Buhari has been
now
insulted.
He has become the darling...
They even called him somebody who had died.
That he has become...
Seasons change.
They changed his name. They changed his name to Jubilee. So Buhari too has received all kinds of insults.
Yeah.
So
No, but it's just like somebody...
And don't forget, things were not this bad during Jonathan's time. But whichever way you look at it, in terms of security, in terms of even our well-being, the economy,
power.
During Jonathan's time, I think in 2014, our economy was the second fastest growing in the world after China. So the anger that people feel now, I believe, is great.
I said that Buhari will not be seeking a second term. He will not be seeking a third term in office.
And Paul, you know, they say when you assume public office, you have become public property.
I don't even have a problem with Jonathan contesting election. You understand?
What do you have trouble with?
I have a problem with the elements, some elements in APC who want him. You understand? But then, let him get there. But the question is there. But the question now is, what is glaring to me now is it's not about the interest of Nigeria, you know, of Nigerians. That is what is glaring to me in all of this. It's about the interest.
Have you not heard that a man is ready to die for his interest than for his rights? Two different things.
Well, but government is there for the government is textbook, you know, supposed to be there for the interest.
Politics is an interest-driven game. These people in Abuja now, they are playing games amongst themselves.
Games that only they themselves understand.
They understand it. We can argue here all day about whether it makes sense for Jonathan to come back. For me, I'm shocked that he has made this move at last. I thought he would resist it. I'm not.
My attitude was a sit-down look attitude.
I'm not surprised because I had been saying it on this program that powerful people in the APC were contacting him, were still talking to him. Even the last time I went to Abuja, so one of the guys very close to him told me that, look, up till now, they are still on his case. So, but I thought that he would just hold on, and at the end of the day, he would not want to be part of this election, because if he doesn't win these primaries, he has demystified himself. Exactly. He has rubbished himself.
Exactly.
And that's what people, that's why people are sometimes reluctant to take the plunge, because you know that when you take the plunge and things don't go the way you want it, it can make or mar your image or your political career forever. So it's taking a big gamble. A big gamble. And a lot of people used to respect him will feel, if he should lose the primaries,
but,
if he doesn't win...
But do you know, even his joining the APC has raised the national adrenaline. You know, you're looking at the temperature and the calculations. If this is not this, if this happens. So it's one of sit down look, Paul.
Yeah, we just we will sit down. We will sit down. We just with the look. We are watching.
We want to see how they want to do.
Let's see how they want to do. But you know, it will not change the fact that Jonathan wrote his name in gold when he conceded defeat. Something that, and that is what some of us are concerned about.
Paul, you see, let me tell you.
What was the alternative to not conceding?
Well, it would have chaos. Perhaps chaos.
Let me tell you a story told by a senior colleague.
Because he said something, he said after he lost the election, that a lot of people used to call him, or no longer calling. Those who used to visit him had stopped visiting him. So he was already feeling abandoned after he lost the election. Someone, look at even the police IG, was already dealing with a man who had not been sworn in, his own incumbent IG. So he must have told himself that, look, the best thing, let me just go, Jerry.
You know, a senior colleague said, a creditor met a debtor, and the one said, if you not pay me my money today, na quench. And no do. The one way they owe money, carry knife, kill the other one, and the man died. And you keep wondering, what next? What next? Okay, that's it on the show today. We must go, but we thank you very kindly for your time. Don't forget, we are here on Sunday from 1:30. But if you missed this edition, join us at 11 later tonight. And just to tell you, we are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now. Take care.